Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to take my 5 minutes and just discuss something that I don't think gets talked about very often, and that's just because it's not something that's very flashy. It's not very sexy to talk about, and that's just logistics and team building and that kind of stuff. Because that's what I did for 5.5 years in a Fortune 100 company. We have a team of 5 people running our business right now, so we have to know team building to a certain degree. So with team building, a big thing and logistics. When you sit there and you look at logistics can be quite overwhelming, especially if you're a business. And there's a lot of reasons why, because you have things, especially if you have your own products and you're making good amount of sales, you have to be able to do forecasting. So forecasting is much different than just restocking. So you never, just a tip here, you never want to see your items go out of stock. So let's say that, and that may be more difficult than you think, but at the same time, you never want to see them go out of stock. You don't want to sit there and put and have like 10, 20 in stock and then they just sell out in one day. Now, granted, if that's your launch day, if you're sitting there and you're just now putting out your first shipment and it's just gone in and it's 20, and you put in 20 units and it sells out immediately, you couldn't have forecasted that. But then you really got to see, okay, so it sold out in the first hour. So I would say you need to basically 10 times that amount of units, because if it's selling out in an hour, then that means that you have the entire day's worth of orders that could have come in. You could have gotten 100 orders in that day, if not more, if it only took an hour for you to sell through 20. So forecasting is difficult just because it you are unsure about the level of stock needed whenever you first make a shipment. Because when you are, I remember working in the Fortune 100 company and they would be launching a new product. And even though they spend millions on doing marketing and market research, you never knew how exactly it was going to sell. But what they did was, for them, they had commercial customers and everything else, so they knew how many they were going to put in stores. But at the same time, that doesn't necessarily dictate sales either. Because, so I'll probably just get to team building tomorrow. But because the thing is let's say for them is they were selling it in the gas stations, they were selling them into Walmarts and Targets, and so those big brand customers were buying it, but at the same time, it has to sell from them. So let's say that I'm a small gas station on the corner and I buy 2 cases of this thing, right? But if it doesn't sell at all, I'm sending it back and getting my money. So that's where you have to know your market research to a certain degree, because but for you, if you're doing it the same way we are, where it's e-commerce, I feel it's a little bit easier to track. As far as if you're using your 3PLs, you'll be able to put that first shipment in, see how fast it sells. Let's say it was 20, you up it to 200, and let's say 200 sells out in a week. Then you want to keep it at about that pace. So then it also depends on your shipment times. So if it's taking 2 weeks for you to get a shipment in, then you need to do probably 400 units that next shipment. That way you can cover your 2 weeks. And then as soon as that shipment gets in and you start selling through it, and you're getting the same consistent traffic on that 400, then you need to order another 400 so you can immediately, so you can stay out ahead of it, so you never go out of stock. Because that's the most detrimental metric that you could possibly run into, even if you have your own store, is if you're always out of stock. Because for me as a customer, if I'm going to look in your store and there's something that I was very interested in and that's why I came in and it's out of stock, then I'm not going to, most likely, unless you're a brand that I love, I'm not going to come back, because I can just go find it somewhere else. So that's how I used up my 5 minutes today. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you have any questions or concerns, anything like that, please let me know. And I will see you guys tomorrow where we talk about team building. If you like this kind of stuff, I do make videos every single day. But until tomorrow, peace.